Just started out here. I was thinking about this. The market's hard. Market's hard. Certainly harder than it was. How about that? In my career, the market went from super easy in the sense that we got multiple offers, no contingencies, give me the property, right? Figure out the highest price offer and take it. And then it turned into really hard, right? The Great Recession occurred and banks stopped lending. People couldn't get money if they wanted to, and they didn't want to because they had a bunch of properties that were upside down they couldn't sell, and they were worried about their jobs because the economy was in the tank. So the market got really hard, and for a period of about a year, there were very few transactions. It was a freaking nightmare because there wasn't any money to get. People didn't know what was going on. And then the banks got involved and they started doing REOs, bank-owned property, right? Real estate-owned property, foreclosures. And that started pushing prices down. And then short sales showed up. If you don't know what a short sale is when you sell for less than what is owed to the bank on your mortgage and the bank allows it. And they were signing deficiency waivers saying, even though you owe me money, we'll never come after you. It was amazing. Amazing time for those folks that didn't want to pay their bills. But at any rate, they allowed that, and that pushed prices down. And when prices started to go down, all of a sudden affordability went up. But in conjunction with that, during that period of time, there was a massive amount of building going on. Inventory was everywhere. Whole neighborhoods sat empty of homes that were for sale with no owners and all that stuff. So there was massive supply, low prices, and it was just hard to get money. So if you had cash was king back then. It mattered, right? So the banks allowed it. Prices went down, all that stuff. And it was easy. And then it was easy. And, well, it wasn't easy. It was a little bit hard doing short sales because there was some issues there. But then the market normalized.
Yeah.
All right. We had a period of time where it was normal. And what happened was, if you were going to do business in that period of time, you needed a lot of skill. You needed to be very good as a real estate professional if you're going to make a living. And some people made very well, but most people made a living. I know some people made a lot of money, but most people made a living. All right. The fortunes are made in the go-go times. The fortunes were made in the run-up with the stated income, no doc loans. There were transactions everywhere. People were making money left and right, all that stuff. And then the market crashed and people lost fortunes and then they made a living. And it went that way until about 2020 when COVID hit, right? And the government flooded the market with dollars. So everybody had a lot of money. Nobody was working. Not everybody, no way. A lot of people had money and a lot of people weren't working. And that drove sales to the moon. It was easy to be a realtor in that little short period of time. People made fortunes, all that stuff. And then it wasn't. All right. Then it got hard. The banks shut down the money, right? Interest rates went from 2 something to 7 or 8 something in just a year and a half. It got very difficult. Prices doubled, and costs owned. All that stuff happened. And now we have a crash in transactions. Real estate's really hard again. So in my career span, it went from easy to hard to normal to easy, and now here we are at hard again. And I know a couple things. If you stay in the game long enough, it's going to get easy again. I don't know when that's going to be, and I don't know what that easy is going to look like, but it'll get easy, and you're going to want to be in position to take advantage of that. But what do you do now? What do you do now? And here's my question. You either curse the dark or you light a candle, right? Oh my God, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Yes. Grab some freaking matches, start lighting some candles, and let's go. What does that look like? What does that look like? It looks like get really good at lead gen, right? Get really good at being disciplined. Get really good at being persistent. Get really good at previewing properties, knowing the market, right? Your inventory. Get really good at understanding the market trends in the neighborhoods you want to dominate, you got to do all that stuff while you make a living. Not all of us are going to make a living. There's just not enough transactions for all the agents. But I know that markets go from hard to easy to hard. Easy's coming again. Now, the question is, what are you going to do to position yourself to be the real estate expert once the market turns? You got to put in that work now for low reward, maybe even no reward, such that when the market turns and it starts running fast, you are positioned out in front to ride that wave up as high as it goes. And that's where you'll make your fortune. If you made a fortune before, this is where you'll make your next fortune. So my challenge to you is to get your poop in a group, stop cursing the darkness, start lighting some candles, create a plan to get really good at lead gen, get really good at being disciplined, get really good at consistency, get really good at all those things, previewing, studying, all that stuff, and tie knot your damn rope. And make sure when this thing comes out the other side, you're there. And not only are you there, you're positioned to just run. Because if you do that, I'm confident you all come up to me and say, oh my word, that day you were talking about that, I did that, and here we are. And I'll high five you and I'll say, me too. We'll all go, awesome. Awesome. So that's what I'm telling you guys here today. All right, Mark, you got anything on that?
Yeah, this is not the time to get into the fetal position. This is where I see some people slacking off the lead generation, and they're just not doing it. Destiny.
I have top agents tell me I'm not getting listings right now because they're not going to sell.
Yeah.
Bad point.
So here's the thing, and I always talk about this in terms of running. You win the races on the uphill because the weaker runners will slow down or walk. You shorten your stride, increase your turnover rate, and you chop up that hill, and you win the races on the uphill. And if you're willing to double down while it's difficult and do more of the work while it's difficult, you'll take territory, and that's where you're going to win. And it's going to hurt when you're running. Your heart feels like it's beating out of your chest, but if you'll maintain it for about 30 seconds after you crest, it will settle back down, and then you glide down the hill. And that's what you got to do here.
You can even roll down the hill if you want.
You can. You can. Gravity will work for you at that point.
This is the market where you grind, you bear down, you really focus on doing the fundamentals very well. Right? Julie, you on board with that?
That's exactly what I just was thinking to myself. Be consistent with the fundamentals. You really have to, what are the fundamentals? And it's knowing what's happening in the market so that you can speak to that from both studying and previewing. You need to know your specific micro market, and you need to know what's going on in the big picture. The big picture is a little bit less important when it comes to helping buyers and sellers, but you have to know what they're hearing in the media and be able to speak to that. That's what the big picture is. But really what you need to know is what's happening in your market, your neighborhood, your farm, whatever you specialize in, and be in contact with as many people as possible, because it's changing. I'm already feeling it changing here in Scottsdale. It's picking up.
Everything changes.
It's already changing. And when it's already changing, if you haven't been doing the fundamentals, a lot of people think they're going to slide in and catch up, and they're not.
No.
I have a friend of mine. He works at the equivalent of good morning, Jamie Dixon. Hello, Salt Lake. He works at the equivalent of a Home Depot type of store back in North Dakota. And he's worked there for a long time. You go in there, hey, I need a saw. Well, what are you cutting? How often, how sharp is it? He goes through the questions. Next guy comes in. Yeah, I need whatever. He'll ask him a bunch of questions, right? Have you ever had that at Home Depot, period? First of all, that you could add anybody to ask. But my point is, he knows his inventory. He knows his product. He knows that stuff. And he's not just, oh, yeah, aisle 6-ish, right? He'll walk you over there and have a conversation with you about what you're doing or trying to do. You know who that is? That's you previewing. Hey, how does my house compare? Well, let me tell you. And honestly, no, not type into a computer or Zillow or something.
You don't get the listing when you're guessing, because that's what everyone else is doing.
Yes.
When all you're doing is looking at a computer and a seller asks you questions.
Anybody can do that.
Exactly. And I just got a listing where they interviewed 5 agents, and I was like, and I went in there and they'd already met with 4, and they asked me a couple of questions and I gave them answers, and they said, well, everybody said this, 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 this. And I said, well, everybody would say that because they're looking at a computer and that's what the computer tells them. And then when you know what is different, and what theirs was is they had a 0 lot line on a small lot and everything surrounding them was larger. And so all the comps that everyone was giving them, they were using larger lots and not 0 lot lines. And of course that made their comps go up. And I said, I'm not saying everybody else is wrong, but here's the difference. And so here I came in and gave them the lowest price that they're going to sell it for. And, they want what everyone else is saying, which was 20, 30, 50 grand higher. And I said, here's why that's wrong. And you're going to sit on the market longer and you're going to end up here. They hired me at the lower price.
Knowledge, skills, and experience. So anybody can look online, and literally anyone can go on Zillow or whatever. Only a handful of folks, realtors, can go into the properties to preview them, right? And only a handful of those folks who can do it will do it. Be in that small group of folks that will do it. You might even be the one.
And I think that's the key. Will do
it.
What's that, Mark?
I think that's the key is will do it.
Anybody can study the market trends. Literally anybody can. Only a handful can get in the MLS and look at what the MLS has to offer realtors. And only a small handful of those realtors will actually do it. Maybe you're the one.
It's not just doing it. It's doing it and knowing what the information means and connecting it to your existing knowledge based on having previewed or knowing the market, knowing that farm, knowing that micro area. You're going to connect differently with information, and then you're going to have answers you didn't know you had. The questions come up.
So if you want to be a professional or viewed as the expert in that particular market, you have to do those things. Here's the other thing that's really super cool in my view. The barriers to entry have dropped so low, you need $0. Is zero? Probably $0. You can go on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Start making content about who you are and what that place is and how you're connected to it and whatever. Free, 0 charge, right? You should do that. You should do that.
Consistently.
What? Say that again.
Consistently.
Why did I put my ear to the microphone like I can hear better?
Consistently.
Yeah.
Nice. Andrew, you got anything to add on that?
Yeah, it's an interesting topic today because I went for a run this morning. I had been off track for the last couple of weeks and finally got back after it, but it was a struggle. And so what I found myself doing was taking little walks in between. I would just try to set little baby goals where, 5 years ago, I was in the best shape since college. And it was easy because I was consistent. And I try to look back and think, why is it?
You were in college 5 years ago?
No. I said I was in the best shape 5 years ago since college. But I look back and try and figure out what was different. And, I think the main things is what I had a goal. And I don't have a goal right now as far as running. I had like a marathon I was training for or something like that. And so that's, I think, the first step in the process. And then you got to build a plan. And then you got to have some accountability to stick with it and stay after it and build it into your routine. And by doing that, you'll get results over time, but it's not quick. And sometimes you're going to go through the highs and the lows. And right now for the market, it's a low, but you just got to push through, persevere. And it might not be as fast as you once went, but you got to go, hey, something's better than nothing.
Markets change. I've seen them easy. I've seen them hard. I've seen them easy. I've seen them hard. We're in a hard one right now, which means an easy one's coming. Andrew, this is for you, right? Look at, I asked Jesse, as I asked my current brokerage about previewing. They had no idea what I was talking about. This is a leadership problem in the real estate world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you come here anywhere near this guy, you're going to hear about previewing once in a while, at least.
Every now and then.
Yeah, vital. Good job. If they won't do it on your own, Jesse. Absorption rate reports for each market, micro reports or micro markets. Hey, pick where you're going to win, pick where you're going to dominate, and make sure you go there and dominate. Because once you're dominating in a place, you can dominate in 2 places, 3 and 4. If you try to dominate in many, you won't.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna come up short. Don't do it. Get one place and just crush it, and then start moving out. Make sense?
Yep.
Destiny, tell us something about what you're doing right now.
I'm reading The Compound Effect, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the analogy that it gave about a water pump in the ground. And, sometimes you pump and you don't get anything. And a lot of people will give up, but then you get a couple of drops and people stop at that. But then you keep pumping, you get the dirty water. But if you keep going, eventually you get that water that you're looking for and that constant flow. But the important part is to keep that pump going, because if you let it go, then you're back at square one. And I think that's where I'm at now is working on staying consistent and keeping that pump and water flowing.
Love it. Have you ever used one of those pumps?
I did. I actually showed a house that had one. I was so excited.
Nice. Oh, there it is. Right. I think that's a Zig Ziglar concept. Didn't he make a lot of money talking about that in his talks? Cool. Very good. Very good. We're from North Dakota. I remember many of those old pumps. I think they were red. Does it sound right, Julie?
And black.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I remember probably several. You pump those damn things, then the water comes out in bursts, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to be old. Right. I don't know. Did you have those in Texas, Andrew? I don't know. Maybe
No.
he's like, yeah, losers. We just turned it on.
Coldest water
maybe in the farm, not in Houston area.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet the water
coldest water I ever experienced was pumped water from the desert.
Yeah. Well water for sure. So at any rate, let's talk about how you're going to win the day today. What I would do, what I'm doing with my people, what I think you should do is write out your fundamentals. What are your fundamentals? I'll help you right now. They're lead gen, right? Where do you want to get really good at lead gen? Is it door knocking? Is it phone calls? Is it both? Is it direct mail? Is it social? Whatever. Is it whatever? Figure out what your lead gen source is going to be. Because without lead gen, well, you're going out of business. Figure out what you're going to do there to fundamentally be rock solid. Figure out your schedule such that you can just be ready. And here's the thing. If you're not making a ton of money, I want you to make money. But what I really want you to do is get through this cycle into the money-making cycle. If you make a few bucks, save them. If you build on them so you can start investing when the time comes. What is the quickest? I'm not sure I understand the question. Anybody get that one?
For lead generation.
Oh, for lead. Well, 100% expired listing phone call would be the quickest. Well, no, I take that back. The quickest would be calling one of your COIs, right? A referral, something like that is going to be doing something. And then I'd go into expireds, and then I'd go into circle prospecting, just listed, just sold. Same story. For results, I'd go to somebody told me they're moving, right? One of your past clients, center of influence, that said, I'm moving in August of 2024, end of July, something like that.
I think a key word that you said, John, was schedule it. So Jesse, the really, really important thing is you put it on your schedule, and that appointment is non-negotiable. Mm-hmm. You make an appointment with yourself, and whether it's 4 days or 5 days a week, you put it on your calendar, and then that's what you do, and you don't put something else in there. Whether you're having a hard time with it or not, make 2 calls, start with 2, then 5, 10, 15. Because if you're struggling with it, it's like running. You can't suddenly run a marathon. You get up and you run down the street, or you run around the block, or you run a half a mile. Start with 2, 3, then 4. You add in increments, but put the lead gen on your calendar.
Mhm.
Here's another way to look at it. Y'all know when the best time to invest in real estate is?
Now,
Five years ago,
5 years ago.
right?
20 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
You know when the best
Keep going.
time, you know when the best time to start lead gen is? 5 years ago. Because then you'd have all kinds of stuff quick and happening right now. Okay. So to expect lead gen to be quick is probably an unfair ask.
Mhm.
There's a lot of pressure on what you're doing. I think what I would do is I would get in a groove of doing lead gen. Now, if you need something to happen fast, I'd call all the people I know in my phone
Mhm.
and ask, who do you know?
Yeah.
And then I'd call expireds and buy owners. And then I'd start circle dialing.
And door knock. Don't be afraid to door knock. I
Yeah.
mean, it sounds really intimidating, and oftentimes people won't answer their door. But the reality is you go there and you hand them something about the market, something that's helpful.
You don't need everyone. You only need a couple.
John,
Yeah.
one of the things that I think is important, I oftentimes will use the script of, hey, John, I'm wanting to reach out to you real quickly just for a 2-minute business conversation. I have a big goal, and it's to help 25 families with their real estate needs in the next year. Now, I know success is a team sport, and I want to ask your favor, and it's not to bring me 25 people. Will you help me find one person who needs to sell in the next 30 days
Mhm.
and make that?
That's the people that know, like, and trust you. You're asking.
That's it. That's it. So if you will call everybody in your database and say, help me find one person in the next 30 days, one will.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Don't forget open houses.
You can always do open houses. For best results, it's just to do something. Now, if you want better results, do something more often.
Yes.
That's the other thing. If you're trying to squeeze out results in an hour and you're not getting the result you want, try 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5, those type of things. Door knocking works. You know, it's worked as long as there's been doors.
Yeah.
So, yes, you're absolutely right. It works. There's no doubt. The work works. All right. And the better the message and the more efficient you are, the better it works. So, again, this goes back to the fundamentals. Let's go back to win the day. All right. Create your lead gen world. What are you going to do for lead gen? How are you going to get fundamentally rock solid at that? Create a schedule that's going to allow you to be fundamentally persistent, consistent, and efficient, all that stuff, all the unts. And create a schedule that's going to allow you to preview. It's going to allow you to do the market studies. And then just commit to doing all that. And I hope you have enough money to hang in there. This is a business. Cash flow's king right now, right?
Mhm.
Undercapitalized businesses are going to go to business, and real estate's a business. So it's going to be hard on a lot of us, right? Cut back costs. A lot of this stuff's free. Cut back costs. Get rid of the stuff, extra stuff, and hang in there because the market, it will change. And if you're here when it comes out the backside with solid fundamentals, that's when you're going to make a fortune, an absolute fortune. All right, quick rundown. Mark, finish this out. You got anything?
Hey, do it. Just get in there and be consistent. Just pump.
Love it. What do you got, Destiny?
Same. Be consistent.
I like the consistency. Andrew, what do you got?
Google the best real estate door knocking script. It's about a 6-minute video. It's excellent. The guy goes into how, why, and what he does. And it's the best example I've seen.
Love it. Julie, can you cap us?
Same thing as Andrew. Stick to the script,
Mhm.
because one of the things that holds people back is not knowing what to say. So memorize one script and then get on your way.
Perfect. All right, there you go. That's how you're going to win the day, folks. Let's go do it. Talk to you tomorrow.
Take
Good
care.
job. End of stream. All right, that was good, right?